Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Brick Show. So today, I'm still catching up, still playing catch up with being sick and everything. I want to talk about Tales of the Jedi because I missed this last week. It came out on October 26th, and I watched them all. I binged them all. It was like an hour and like 20 minutes, I think, to watch all of them, and they were great. They were really, really cool. I actually wish the season was longer. I wish we had even more tales to watch. So I'm just going to do kind of like a quick review, quick chat, quick discussion about Tales of the Jedi as a whole. Maybe, kind of going into each episode really quickly just to kind of talk about what happens and stuff like that. Just to kind of have a quick discussion. I probably would have made this video more like in depth, if it was last week, but considering it's been like a week or so since these things have been out, I'm just going to, do a quick discussion just talking about the show. Because again, I really did enjoy it. So, these tales, those six tales of this Jedi, and it was about Ahsoka, and three were about Ahsoka, and three were about Count Dooku, and him before he actually became a Sith Lord, and they were great. I mean, the Ahsoka ones I don't think were as good as the Dooku ones at all. I think the Dooku ones were incredible. But what's cool about these is that they kind of they were ordered in a way where it was ordered in a way where in like chronological order, I should say. I was trying to find the word there. So like episode 1 was the first episode of Ahsoka when Ahsoka was a child. Then episodes 2 through 4 were the Dooku episodes, and then the last two were the final two Ahsoka episodes, like in like chronological order. So I thought that was kind of cool to start us off. But I want to talk about the Dooku episodes first because those are much more interesting in my opinion. They were incredible. I mean, the first episode was called Justice. The first Dooku episode was called Justice, and it was about Dooku and Qui-Gon, young Qui-Gon Jinn, which was awesome to see, going to this planet that had been like very destroyed, very burnt up, and clearly not taken care of by the senator, the government of this planet, it seems, and like him, having to meet with I don't know, what were they like ransomers, I guess that's not a word. Basically, the people of the village captured the senator's son and held him up for ransom because their village wasn't being taken care of by the senator himself. So then Dooku, there was this really cool standoff where Dooku had his lightsaber out, and Qui-Gon had his lightsaber out, and all the village people were having their blasters out to fight the senator and stuff. It was very, very cool episode. And then Dooku went Sith on him, when the villagers were being shot at and they were starting to lose a little bit, and then Dooku just force chokes the senator and forces away all the guards and stuff. It was very, very cool. And these were very much more snippet kind of episodes, but they were really, really cool regardless. The next episode of the Dooku episodes here was called Choices, where Windu and Mace Windu and Count Dooku himself were going to investigate the murder of Master Katri, I think, or something like that. Katri, I don't remember exactly her name. And they go on this place called Raxus, and basically the guards on this planet killed her because she was like a dog, or no, what was it? What was the exact words that they said? Something about the Jedi being lapdogs for the senators or something like that on Coruscant. And regardless, it was very, very interesting, and that's kind of what amped Dooku to maybe start turning against the Jedi and against the Senate, because he just thought he agreed that the Senate and the Jedi aren't really doing enough to keep the people well, I guess, of the other planets. So very interesting. And this just kind of shows the development of Dooku and slowly how he became moving to the dark side. And then the Sith Lord episode, which was the final Dooku episode, easily the best episode of Tales of the Jedi in my opinion. I think this was incredible. It takes place during Phantom Menace, which I thought was amazing, and we get to see Dooku's reaction to Qui-Gon's death and stuff like that, and Qui-Gon comes in and it's I encountered a Sith Lord, which of course was Darth Maul, and it was such a cool episode. And then Yaddle and Dooku have this really cool fight scene. Of course, Yaddle actually has to die here because Dooku obviously survives later on, but Yaddle is killed by Dooku, and this kind of solidifies Dooku's last moment of being on the light side, and then of course ends up being the Sith Lord that we know him as. But regardless, it was so cool, such a cool episode, really, really amazing. Yaddle was cool. to have in this episode, like kind of like a main character in this episode. And of course, obviously seeing Dooku kind of become who he is was pretty crazy. And it was amazing. I would love to get a Dooku show, actually, an animated Dooku show. I think it'd be kind of cool. Have, him and his adventures with Qui-Gon and other Jedi and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to see that. Then for the Ahsoka episodes, again, they were a little less interesting, I think, in my opinion. The first one was called Life and Death, which was about baby Ahsoka and basically her parents and her tribe kind of living on this planet. And, there was like an animal that took her away and she ended up using the Force. That's how they knew that she was a Force user. It was alright. I mean, it wasn't as interesting as the other episodes, in my opinion, but it was cool to see Ahsoka's parents and like kind of the people that she grew up with, it seemed, before she was inducted into the Jedi Order. But then the next couple episodes were much more interesting. The first one that I want to talk about is Practice Makes Perfect. This was a very quick episode, but a very interesting one, where essentially Ahsoka was practicing defending against being surrounded by multiple enemies. And this kind of it kept mirroring the scene in Clone Wars Season 7, where Ahsoka was like surrounded by clone troopers and was like having to use her lightsabers to block everything, and they used the same movements and stuff like that. And like, every time she would get better and better. And like there was, Captain Rex would say like, "Oh, nice job, you made it 5 minutes," and stuff like that. So this obviously showed how, trained she was, basically training for this Order 66 moment, basically, which was crazy. And they kind of hinted at that towards the end, where they did a time jump to Ahsoka and Rex during the Clone Wars Order 66 episode, and like him being like, I hope all that training paid off. And then, then he went out into the hangar to meet with Jesse and stuff like that, and then that whole scene played out. So very, very cool. Love seeing this. Very quick episode, but very interesting how basically showed how Ahsoka trained and ended up using that training to defend from Order 66, basically. Very, very cool. Then for the final episode called Resolve, this is basically an episode where Ahsoka kind of wanted to stop fighting. She seemed to be giving up and decided to live a life for a little bit, it seems, working on like a hay harvesting farm, I guess. I don't know what you would want to call it. And these people the people who own the farm find out that she's a Force user, that she's a Jedi, and this guy who sympathizes with the Empire ends up calling the Empire, and an Inquisitor comes out, and Ahsoka fights the Inquisitor and absolutely wipes the floor with this Inquisitor, which is kind of a shame, because the Inquisitor looked pretty cool. I would have liked to see them do much more cooler things than what they did in the episode, considering they just got wiped out very quickly. It was very reminiscent of the Ben Kenobi fight with Maul and Rebels. Obviously, that had a little bit more significance, but Ahsoka absolutely wiped the floor without even having a lightsaber, just like dodged all the Inquisitor's attacks, then grabbed the lightsaber and just slashed him down. So, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see more of a fight, but, it was cool. And then this kind of solidifies Ahsoka's return back into the fight, basically, with calling up Bail Organa to help these people, and then Bail Organa basically being like, you're back, and she's like, yeah, basically, I'm back fighting. So this obviously talks about, her becoming, was it Fulcrum, I think it was, in Rebels, and her being like, helping out the rebellion. So very, very cool episode. But I'm gonna rank them really quick. So number 6 out of all of them is Life and Death, which is the first Ahsoka episode. Then number 5, I would say, is the final Ahsoka episode, I think, because it was kind of boring a little bit, just kind of talking, like learning about these people who are on this farm. Then the next one would be hold on, let me see. Probably Choices, which is the Windu and Dooku episode, and then the Justice episode. No, actually, then Practice Makes Perfect, then Justice, then the Sith Lord. That's my quick ranking of all of them. I just came up with that on the spot, so there you go. But that's basically all. Those are all the Tales of Jedi episodes. I would love to see a season 2. Whether that's a season 2 with more Ahsoka stories and more Dooku stories, or stories with other Jedi. Again, I think I would actually like a Dooku show, an animated Dooku show, just kind of showing more of his adventures, I guess. And I mean, we're already getting into live action Ahsoka show, and I feel like she would need a whole other animated show, to be honest with you, just to kind of do more Clone Wars stuff, more Rebellion stuff, and just kind of filling in pieces, to be honest with you. I feel like Ahsoka has so much story to tell. And she also, obviously there's all that time between Clone Wars and her joining the Rebellion to fill in there, too. So there's many opportunities for her to have her own show, multiple shows going at once, an Ahsoka live action series and an Ahsoka animated show too. So I would love to see both of those, to be honest with you. But yeah, so Tales of the Jedi, I hope it gets a season 2. It probably will, and it'll probably follow 2 other Jedi, each with 3 different stories. I would love to see that. So yeah, that's everything with Tales of the Jedi. I just wanted to cover it very quickly because I know I missed last week and I missed when it released. But yeah, here's my thoughts on it right now. So there you go. If you enjoyed that video, do comment stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.